Our form is almost ready. However, at this moment, we can save a new employee without filling in any data. Therefore, we need to add some validation for this data and check its correctness before saving. Fortunately, in Blazor, we can handle this easily. First, let's define in the model which data we want to validate. Let's also assume that we want every employee to always have a name entered. We mark it as required in the model, and if this field is not filled in, we want to display the message the name field is required. Additionally, we can assume that a position should always be selected. As you remember, if a position is not selected in our select, it will have a value of 0. However, if a position is selected, we know that the value is greater than 0 because a position ID must be selected. We can use range and set the minimum to 1. We will set the maximum to max value as there may be more positions in the future. If this condition is not met, we display the message the position field is required. Let's just add validation for these two properties for now. Of course, you can validate all properties here. Okay, let's go back to our form now. Next, let's add a new component inside our form. Under Edit, Form, Data, Annotations, Validator to enable data validation. Now we can display validation errors under each form field. For example, if we validate the name, we can display the validation message for the employee name below it. If the name is not provided, a message will be displayed underneath. Additionally, we can display a validation summary at the top for all fields. If the name is not entered, the message will appear under the field and also at the top in the summary. Usually, when creating forms, we use either this method or that method, but I wanted to show you both. One more important thing. Instead of binding the save method to the onSubmit event, we can bind it to the onValidSubmit event, so the save method will only be called when all conditions are met and there are no validation errors. In practice, we always use the onValidSubmit event. Let's run our application and test if it works. So, I click Save without filling in any data, and as you can see, the message is displayed under the name field, which is the validation message. And besides that, we also have all the validation errors in this form displayed in the summary above the form. Now, if we enter a name like Jan Kowalski, you'll notice that the error immediately disappears, notes, salary, and position. And now I save the data, and at this moment everything has been saved. And on the top right, we have a message displayed with this data. So this save method was only called when there were no more validation errors. And now I invite you to the next lesson, where I will show you how to further improve this data saving